Hello everyone, Silverstruck here. Welcome to the Silverstruck channel. In this video, I'll be talking about Silver Towne silver bars and how to identify both a authentic vintage Silver Towne bar or a modern retro or replica bar. Unlike other refiners that have been out of business for decades, Silver Towne is still alive and well producing bars today. And to make matters a little bit more confusing for collectors, they've actually produced replica bars over time, cast in the same fashion that they used to make their bars back in the 1970s and 80s. So how would you identify a authentic vintage bar over a more modern retro bar? I'm going to share with you what I've learned in this video, and we're going to start here with this beautiful 50-ounce ingot. I did stack this back in August, and I've held on to it while I do my research, and now I'm ready to share with all of you what I've learned about it. So let's have a close look at this bar. As you can see here, the weight stamp right there, 50 ounces. Silver Towne stamped right in the center, and the designation for fineness is .999 FS dot. And this bar is just a wonderful bar, chock full of character. Beautiful pour lines on the verse here, some waviness in the silver. It has some really nice cooling lines throughout the edges, really nice. And as we flip it over to its reverse, you can see all those pour marks. So wonderful bar, really old looking, but is it vintage? And the answer to that is no. This is not a vintage bar. This is actually a retro bar. I've been doing a lot of research, and I've been helped a lot by allenglehart.com. I've reached out to them in regard to this bar, and they say this bar is an older retro bar, probably somewhere around circa 2005. So to add to the confusion, we have a little bit of patina of age, since this bar is approaching 20 years of age. It does have a little bit of that kind of older patina to it, which helps it look even more vintage than it really isn't. So how can you tell on this retro bar that it's not a true vintage bar? And there are two tells really to look for. And the first one is the absence of a serial number right here. Now that's not a deadlock that it is not a vintage bar, because some of your vintage Silver Towne bars actually did not have a serial number, but most of them do. The retro bars never had a serial number. So if there's a serial number on your Silver Towne bar, it's a vintage bar. If you're missing a serial number, it's more than likely a retro bar. There are a few bars, if you go on allenglehart.com and look, that have serial numbers absent. So that's one way to identify this bar. But the easier way is actually in the fineness here. They never stamped .999 FS back in the 70s and 80s. They stamped out the word fine. So if you have this designation for fineness, then you definitely have a retro bar. So that's basically it right there. The absent serial number, but most importantly, the fineness designation. So let's have a look at an authentic Silver Towne bar. And recently I was able to pick one up here. So here I have a beautiful little 10-ounce ingot that I was able to get from a YouTube auction on T the Silver Stackers channel. Great channel, especially if you like vintage silver like I do. Take a good close-up look at it. You can see the weight stamp right here, 10 ounces. We have a serial number, and you can see what I'm talking about with a finest stamp. .999 fine, all spelled out in caps, F-I-N-E, fine. So there you have it. This is an authentic vintage bar. And as we flip it over, this one happens to be a waffle back. Now there are a lot of variations with the Silver Towne waffle back, so I would call this one a weak waffle back, if you will. It's not very strong. You can see the waffling, different angles, but it's not the strongest waffle back, though this is a beautiful example here. I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of this bar on allenglehart.com. As you can see, this is one of your more common 10-ounce ingots with a mintage of somewhere around 50,000 produced. So not a incredibly rare bar, but definitely a nice vintage Silver Towne to have in the stack, and glad that I was able to pick that one up. During all of my research, I did reach out to Silver Towne directly through email, but I've had no response, which isn't really a surprise, as they probably don't have any of the information that I'm looking for. But I did send them an email, so hopefully maybe someday they'll send me an email back. And I would like to give a big shout out to my friends at allingohard.com. They're absolutely amazing. I would like to say before ending the video that there is one bar listed there that has the 999 FS designation. I believe it's on a 100-ounce bar, and they're looking into that. They think it's now a retro bar, and that bar may be posted in error, so I just wanted to let you guys know that, just in case you go on there and it becomes even more confusing to what is vintage versus retro. But there you have it. Short little video on how to identify both the retro and vintage Silver Towne bars. So hopefully you found this information useful. Don't forget to leave me that comment in the comment section. And as always, thank you so much for watching.